Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global Television. We are live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. Minister of Works David Umahi has disclosed that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved and directed immediate release of funds for the Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria-Kano, Lagos-Ibadan highways and the second Niger Bridge 2 bypass project. Umahi said the development would remove the financial bottlenecks on the three projects and expedite completion. He stated this during the inspection of the Lafayette Bypass Road and dualization of the 9th Mile Enugu-Otukpo-Makurdi Road project in Makurdi, the Benue State capital. The project is jointly funded by the Export-Import Bank of Nigeria, 85%, and 15% by the federal government. The project is expected to be delivered in 48 months and handled by China Harbour Nigeria Limited. In the interest and well-being of lives and property of people in northern Nigeria, the Coalition of Northern Groups and Leaders has organized a two-day roundtable conference to tackle the prevailing challenges of insecurity in the country north. Our correspondent here in Global TV was there for the report. Now, the Defense Headquarters, I beg your pardon, Global Television will bring you the report subsequently. The Defense Headquarters in Abuja said that no fewer than 94 terrorists were killed by troops in various operations conducted across the northern part of the country between January 17th and 25. It said the operations led to the arrest of 171 terrorists in the north, as well as 43 suspected oil thieves, and the recovery of 485 million naira worth of crude oil in the south-south. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, disclosed this in Abuja while briefing journalists on the activities of troops within the period under review. We'll take a quick break. The news continues shortly. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, in the interest and well-being of the lives and property of people in northern Nigeria, the Coalition of Northern Groups and Leaders have organized a two-day roundtable conference to tackle the prevailing challenge of insecurity in the country north. Global Televisions bring you the details.
The roundtable dialogue had in attendance distinguished dignitaries, traditional rulers, and leaders of various northern groups, service chiefs, as well as heads of other paramilitary agencies, with a common resolve of confronting the existential challenges of insecurity that have become a threat, particularly to northern Nigeria. In line with the theme to address insecurity, develop a framework for cooperation, collaboration between states and local authorities, check proliferation of arms and drugs through local vigilante and border security, as well as addressing the socio-economic factors. The meeting began with the Chairman Committee of Experts on National Security at the Roundtable, Bashir Yusuf Ibrahim, setting precedents for the rest of the agenda.
The committee assigned to itself the following tasks: to engage all stakeholders in order to come up with a common and practical approach to containing the security challenges facing northern Nigeria, to recommend a comprehensive and all-inclusive strategy to address the challenges of insecurity in northern Nigeria.
The former military head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, in his speech, reeled out the devastating effects of insecurity in the north, adding that addressing insecurity in northern Nigeria requires a multifaceted approach while calling for a shared goal to foster a secure environment that enables the prosperity and well-being of people in the north.
I hope at the end of this meeting, we will find a solution to how to combat this menace that has bedeviled our country. And like the other speakers have said, it is time for implementation. Certainly, a lot has been discussed and said about insecurity. There are volumes of literature that abound in this country. So I hope that at the end of this roundtable, we will implement the recommendations that the roundtable will come out with. Again, to close, let me thank the CNG and the chairman for finding me fit and allowing me to chair this roundtable. May peace reign in our country. May peace reign in our region. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Advocating for a more pragmatic approach for a successful fight against insecurity, the former INEC chairman, Professor Attahiru Jega, says efforts should be made to take the fight against insecurity from the conference room into the communities.
Targeted efforts must move from the conference rooms to the communities also if we need to have an effective and successful fight against insecurity. It is evident that the long fight against insecurity, particularly in the northern parts of the country, has also created what many scholars are referring to as the war economy. And the major participants in this war economy, regrettably, are also those who are supposed to lead the fight against insecurity, the armed forces.
Also speaking was the former Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Audu Ogbe, speaking on the lack of job creation as one of the many effects of insecurity in the country.
In fact, one question I'd like to ask the governors today is the local government system working? Are there any graders in the villages for leveling village roads so the poor farmers can go to their farms and come back? Hire a pickup? How many village clinics are operating? How many classrooms in village schools are roofed? Not too long ago, I saw on television in one of the states, not in the north, where children were lying on their bellies to read and write because there were no chairs or desks in the classroom in Nigeria in 2004. So my theory is this. This chaos is caused by three things. One, the economy. Two, the economy. And three, the economy. So there are no jobs. So our children graduate, hang around the village for a while, and then have to go in frustration in search of livelihood to Abuja, probably, or Lagos, for those who go down there. And those who can't go far, they go into crime, into the forest, into kidnapping, where they can call a poor man and his children, take them to the bush and ask for 50 million. It doesn't connect.
Further adding that the Nigerian army shouldn't be shouldered with the responsibility of the police.
The army is not a police force. A country that abuses its army by using it as a police force is running a risk. You are destroying that army. Soldiers are not policemen, and policemen are not soldiers. We're mixing the two up. That's another danger we'll deal with in due course.
Participants of the conference highlight the peculiarities of the dialogue.
The overview of this conference is that it is now we get to know that each and every person in the society has a role to play in contributing in ending insecurity in northern Nigeria. The traditional rulers have their own part to contribute. The ulamas or the clerics have their own part to contribute. The leaders have their own part to contribute. Youth, civil society, even you, the media people, you have your own role to play. And all these roles that are going to play by different groups are clearly spelled out during this conference.
In an interview with the Zamfara State Governor, he assured Nigerians, especially the people of the North, that the outcome of the meeting would put an end to insecurity in the country.
As you rightly saw, it was a very interesting 2 days where issues concerning security, especially in northern Nigeria, were discussed adequately by all the stakeholders. And I believe this is a way forward for northern Nigeria. We're giving them all the assurance that government is doing everything humanly possible to take care of security situation in northern Nigeria and Nigeria as a whole.
In a bid to confront the existential challenges of insecurity that continue to threaten a large part of the nation, the coalition of northern groups and leaders have come together at a 2-day roundtable dialogue on insecurity in northern Nigeria, here at the Nigerian Army Resource Center, Sokoro, Abuja, to seek multi-dimensional approach at ending insecurity in the country. For Global Television, Queen Agaba reporting.
The Defense Headquarters in Abuja says that no fewer than 94 terrorists were killed by troops in various operations conducted across the northern part of the country between January 17th and 25. It said the operations led to the arrest of 171 terrorists in the north, as well as 43 suspected oil thieves and the recovery of 485 million naira worth of crude oil in the south-south. The Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, disclosed this in Abuja while briefing journalists on the activities of troops within the period under review. Now, the federal government, through the Ministry of Interior, has disclosed its readiness to transform citizenship management and business administration in Nigeria. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, in Abuja made this known during the unveiling of a new handbook on citizenship administration in Nigeria. He noted that if the provisions in the document are followed, it would help develop the country. The handbook prescribed conditions for the acquisition of citizenship by foreigners and citizens born outside Nigeria by Nigerian parents, among others. It also prescribed conditions for citizenship by investment, amongst which is evidence of the required amount for investment, pegged at a minimum of $1 million United States dollars. The federal government's efforts to attain local vaccine production and reduce dependence on imported vaccines have been significantly boosted with the launch of the National Plan for Vaccine Research and Development and Local Production on Friday. Tunji Alausa, the Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, while highlighting the anticipated significance of the project in facilitating the operationalization of vaccine development, emphasized that it would provide a blueprint for the entire process of vaccine production within the country. Alausa observed that the national plan was meticulously crafted through an innovative bottom-up methodology, ensuring that the results of the efforts would be highly beneficial in complementing the national vaccine policy. During the unveiling of the plan in Abuja on Friday, Alausa revealed that the project was the result of a year-long collaboration between the European Union, the Bulgarian government, and the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development, NIPRD, on behalf of the Nigerian government. Now, Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf on Friday rejected the call by the acting national chairman of All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, to join the ruling party. Yusuf's reaction came barely 24 hours after Kano APC stakeholders in their majority resolved to reconcile the Kwakwansiye movement. At the end of the APC stakeholders meeting in Kano last Thursday, he subsequently reaffirmed, the acceptance of the Supreme Court's verdict, affirming Yusuf's victory. Reacting to Ganduje, the Director General of Media and Publicity to the Kano State Governor, Sanusi Bature Dawa Kintofa, stated that his boss, Yusuf, rejected the call in totality. According to him, the governor, like anyone else, heard Ganduje's appeal via the platform of different social media, pointing out that the government had yet to comprehend the motive behind the call. Governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, has said people of the state should expect accelerated growth and development with the legal battles challenging his elections now over. Fubara stated this during a statewide broadcast on Friday morning following the affirmation of his electoral victory by the Supreme Court of Nigeria on Thursday. While expressing gratitude to God for emerging victorious, Fubara dedicated his victory to God and the good people of Rivers State. He reflected that the litigation experience was a tortuous journey that had now validated the choice and eventually confirmed the mandate freely given to him by the electorate. The Supreme Court on Friday dismissed an appeal by a former member of the House of Representatives, Farouk Lawan, against the judgment of the lower court which imprisoned him. A Federal Capital Territory High Court had sentenced Lawan to 7 years imprisonment for receiving a $500,000 bribe while serving as the chairman of the House ad hoc committee investigating the fuel subsidy fraud in 2012. The trial judge, Angela Otaluka, held that Lawan demanded $3 million and received $500,000 from Femi Otedola in 2012 to remove Otedola's oil company Zenon Oil and Gas from the list of firms indicted for fraud in the fuel subsidy regime. She also held that Lawan was guilty of all 3 counts of corruption and bribery. Not satisfied, Lawan approached the appellate court where his jail term was reduced from 7 to 5 years. Now, the Lagos State has mulled the idea of establishing an airline for passenger operations just as the state prepares to commence the construction of its own airport in Lekki. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu disclosed the plan on Thursday at the Lagos West Senatorial District People's Town Hall meeting, where he rendered stewardship and presented a catalogue of achievements recorded by his administration in the district. A statement by the state government noted that a former permanent secretary and retired Auditor General for local government in Lagos, Mohammed Hassan, noted that the state was ripe to own an airline. In his response, Sanwo-Olu noted that the plan had been in the pipeline for months, with the state already finalizing the financing model for the project. What is being considered, the governor said, is the federal government's approval and operational contingency for the airline. The Nigerian Customs Service Tinkan Island Command said it intercepted cocaine, arms and ammunition worth 4.3 billion naira. The Comptroller General of Customs, Adewale Adeniyi, disclosed this while addressing journalists during the handing over of the seized contraband at the command. Adeniyi said that the seized contraband came from South Africa and Canada. He added that the command also intercepted Colorado Indica weighing 32.5 kilograms. Moving on, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, says the recent publication claiming that paracetamol drugs in Nigeria are underdosed is fake. The Director General of NAFDAC, Mojisola Adeyeye, has stated in an interview with the News Agency of Nigeria that there is nothing wrong with paracetamol and that the publication is fake. Adeyeye says that the publication was a disservice to Nigeria, adding that academic publications need to be more responsive to issues of public health. A 2023 study with samples from 5 paracetamol brands claiming to contain 500 milligram paracetamol as its active ingredients were said to have been tested and analyzed using spectrophotometric method. Adeyeye, however, said that findings have shown that the said publication has been retracted. The NAFDAC boss, who cautioned against playing on the intelligence of Nigerians enjoined all Nigerians to use paracetamol. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has suspended the license of Martini Airline Services Limited, the private jet operator whose aircraft overshot the runway on Friday in Ibadan. The private jet had 10 persons on board before it overshot the runway as firefighters and rescue officials from the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria were immediately deployed to the scene. The NCAA declared in a statement that the license suspension was with immediate effect, pending the outcome of the investigation into the incident. The regulatory body announced its intention to conduct a comprehensive safety and economic audit of all private jet operations in Nigeria, emphasizing its commitment to ensuring the highest standards in the aviation sector. The ownership of numerous private jets linked to both serving and non-serving governors as well as National Assembly members across the country has come under scrutiny. We're watching the midday news coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're in Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When the midday news returns, UN sacks workers linked to Hamas attack on Israel. The news continues shortly with details of this and more stories right after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. If you've just joined us, this is the midday news here on Global Television. The southern U.S. state of Alabama put to death a convicted murderer using nitrogen gas, the first time the controversial method criticized by human rights advocates has been used in the country. Kenneth Eugene Smith was pronounced dead at 8:25 p.m., according to the state attorney general. Smith, who is 58, was on death row for more than 3 decades after being convicted of the 1988 murder for hire of the pastor's wife. He was put to death at Holman Prison in Atmore, Alabama, by nitrogen hypoxia, which involved bumping nitrogen gas into a face mask, causing him to suffocate. China's Vice Foreign Minister met his North Korean counterpart in Pyongyang on Friday, with the nuclear-armed state accelerating its weapon testing and threats towards Seoul in recent months. Beijing is North Korea's biggest economic benefactor, and a traditional ally and leader, Kim Jong-un, has sought to shore up his country's relationship with China while intensifying his aggressive rhetoric towards the South. The weapons test and Kim's designation of Seoul earlier this month as the North's principal enemy have raised tensions in the region and led South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol to pull closer to long-standing ally Washington. The United States has also warned of growing and dangerous military ties between Pyongyang and Moscow and called on Beijing to restrain the North. And that's it on Global Television's Midday News. Don't forget, we're in Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. Many thanks for watching. I am Queen Agaba. See you again.